Welcome back to some new r/malicious compliance stories, where people comply to the letter, but not the spirit of a request. I hope you had a great day. The first story is called Talk to the Supervisor. I'm a woman and work in an office, and there are several men there. For the most part, they work with us side by side with no problem. But this one guy has been slowly harassing me for what reason I am not sure of. I didn't do anything which I know of. I am courteous to all. I even used to joke with him, but his joke started to draw the line. He was harassing me on a daily basis. Basically, I have disengaged myself from him and stopped joking around, which I have begun to believe is why he started getting more aggressive with me. Last week, I wrote to myself that I would approach him if he continued to be aggressive with me. He isn't like that with anyone else. Lo and behold, he acted out again. I took a couple of minutes to cool down and I approached him. Right away he blew up at me and said, "Bring it to your supervisor." He wouldn't even listen to what I was saying. Here is the malicious compliance. I didn't just bring it up to our supervisor. I did one better. I went to the head supervisor. I told the head supervisor all the things he was doing to me. They just looked at me and said, "Don't worry, I will take care of it from here." I did see that he was pulled into a meeting. Through the door, I could hear a raised voice. It sounded like him. But after that meeting, he is finally behaving as he should. Maybe he shouldn't have asked me to talk to the supervisor. The next story is called No Excuses. This happened a few years ago. I was a union delegate at a large firm. We had a manager called Karen, who was appointed to her role by a director of the company. Let's call the director her uncle. Karen wasn't very clever. She hadn't finished high school and previously worked as a receptionist. She once told me 40 was half of 100. Karen is struggling in her job and basically does nothing. Her desk is a mess of paperwork. She also looks after all the small departments, like records, security, stores, etc. If anyone takes on Karen, the director steps in, and Karen gets a get-out-of-jail card. There were a few occasions when Karen got yelled at by a manager for making costly mistakes, and Karen was put on stress leave and the manager got a warning. One of the paralegals, Sally from Records, comes to me to say she thinks she's in trouble. Sally recently had 6 weeks leave. She was forced on leave due to having too much annual leave. Once you have more than 6 weeks, you are forced to go on leave until you have no more than 2 weeks. Sally tells me that HR and Karen forced her on leave, and she'd submitted a paper leave form the same day Karen was put on stress leave. Sally went on leave and came back the same day as Karen. Sally's leave wasn't docked. She just got paid as per regular. While Karen was away, they replaced her with Paula, who found Karen hadn't really done any work for 7 months. I phoned Paula and asked casually about what happened. She told me on day 1 she threw all the paperwork out and started over again. So I attended a meeting with Sally, Karen and HR, knowing there isn't a record of Sally's leave. Karen starts the meeting on a verbal rampage about not doing as she told Sally to do. Sally needs to go on leave now, or else, and she doesn't want to hear excuses. I interject at this point and point out to HR that Karen's behavior is unacceptable, but we agree. Cue malicious compliance. As Sally has over 8 weeks of leave now, she will go on leave effective tomorrow. Sally submits a leave form to Karen, and we leave the meeting. Sally's leave is reduced on her payslip this time. No one questioned a thing. The last story is called Impossible Task. I used to work for a big IT consulting company, notorious for not paying overtime. I worked on our client's migration project for almost 1.5 years, leading the functional migration team. The 3 of us worked for the client 3 years before the start of the migration project. We knew the data we had to migrate and all the nuances, and 2 weeks before the migration date, 99% of the data was already migrated and validated. We only did the day-by-day new data, a sack of pretty much those 2 last weeks. The other manager, that outranked me, became extremely angry about our calmness because the part she led was behind schedule, due to bad scheduling. Everyone was overworked because of her mishaps. Come to the migration date, Saturday, starting at 9 AM, everyone was expecting long hours of work, but we clocked out at noon with the data validated with the client and the go-ahead signed. sealed, and delivered. My team got a written commendation from the client. The manager's team spent the entire weekend there. She got a complaint from the client. The manager complained about us and made me and my senior analyst spend the next month rating for incidences, bugs, and complaints. We got 5 in the whole month. My senior analyst spent 8 hours a day studying a new language. I took the chance to update my CV. I wanted out and pretty much help a couple of former colleagues that needed to solve bugs and problems with the manager's team's responsibilities. A couple of weeks later, evaluation time. At the IT company, everyone was graded from A to D. A being exceeding expectations, D being you are out of here. B was good, and C was pretty much I'm starting to think you might not be good to work here. Given the commendation from the client, I was expecting an A. My evaluation was done by the manager and my mentor, a close friend of the manager. They gave me a C because we didn't see any pressure on your work and you certainly lack motivation. I complained and took a long overdue, already planned month-long vacation. This was June. After that, back at work, I was assigned to a project on another client, led by the manager's husband. He wanted me to prepare 122 integrations with different systems in 4 months. I told him that in the previous project, led by his wife, it took 2 years to have 12 integrations ready, but I would give it a shot. I even emailed him the planning, which clearly showed the time they took. 2 of those months were July and August, months where pretty much everyone on the client goes on holiday. The manager and his wife also went on holiday for pretty much all of August. I spent those 2 months chasing people around the client's office, but starting in September, 6 integrations were closed and 6 more were almost closed pending validation. The manager came back from holidays and was furious. He called me a slacker. Then he started telling me that his wife was right, that I lacked motivation, and that I would need to spend the rest of the project duration working till midnight to make up for lost time. And I said, no, I won't do an hour more than what you are paying. I told you that your expectations were unrealistic and you went ahead with them anyways. He went ballistic. I replied, I just lack the motivation to work in your project. I want out of the project. I was out of the project in no time. I got a call from my mentor. She said that they were evaluating firing me without pay because of this. I told them about the unrealistic planning. She said that I was being unrealistic and that the planning was good. I produced the email I sent the manager. My mentor went quiet. A minute later, she told me, what do you want? If you can't guarantee I won't do an hour of overtime ever again, I want out. Full severance and then some. And I want the company to make it look like I quit, not that you fired me. She went quiet again. She said she'll see what she could do. I was out of there, smiling, by the end of the day. Thanks for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please don't forget to leave a like, comment and subscribe. And if you have time, watch another one of my videos. And now, I hope you have a great day. See you soon. Bye bye.